Hi everybody, I'm Spike Brave, and today I'd like to give you a look at the Viridian Bog map in Mechwarrior Online. This is the newest map in the game. It's been out for a month or maybe 6 weeks or so, and I'd like to give new players an overview of this map and how it's used in solo play. And usually when I do these videos, I'll show you, or tell you at least, and show you the place names that are used to describe certain features in a map that the players use. In this map, that really hasn't occurred, and I don't think it's going to. I haven't seen anybody trying to do that stuff. It's a really small map, and most of the combat takes place in the center. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of place names on this other than things like the center. And when people do want to tell you about something, they generally use the battle grid coordinates. So let's spend a moment talking about the battle grid. You can see in the center of my screen at the bottom there, I have a little mini map with grid coordinates on it. The yellow triangle is me. It's a triangle, and the tip with the arrow coming off of it is the direction I'm facing, and it lets me know where my legs are pointed. That arc that's slightly different colored with the two lines, one kind of goes through E4 and the other one kind of goes through C2 there, um, lets me know what I can see in my field of view based on where my torso's turned. So if I move my torso, you can see that moves. Now I can see that mech there, and that'll let me know where things are. So as you can see, I'm detecting that mech in E3 now. It gets a little targeting triangle above them, and it shows up as a red triangle. If I had friendly units on there, there'd be blue triangles or green triangles if they were my lance. And then everything else is red. That indicates it's an enemy. So anything I'm detecting or my teammates are detecting will show up down here. So that's a good way to communicate something. I could tell my team right now, hey, I see an enemy in E3. If you want a view of the entire battlefield, just hit the B key, and that brings up the whole battle grid. As you can see, I'm still in E2, the enemy's still in E3, and if I had friendly units out here and they were detecting stuff, I could see where that is by looking at this. So keep that in mind. If you want to communicate with your teammates, just use these grid coordinates and they'll be able to figure out what you're talking about. It's very helpful, very useful, and if you'd like to know more about how to use the battle grid, I do have a tutorial available for that now, so check that out if you want an in-depth explanation of how the battle grid works. So let's talk a little bit about the points of interest on this map and how it's used in pug play. As you can see, loading in here, I started out in E2. If I were playing a assault match, right behind me in this area would be a base, and I believe that base is right in between this tree and this tree. So if you were defending this base, your friendly base would be right about here, and then it would have turrets throughout this area to protect it. So if you're attacking it, look out for those turrets. So that is where one of the bases in assault mode is located. Now this map is kind of like some of the newer maps in which the assault capture points and the conquest capture points don't share any locations. In a couple maps they do. In this one, that's not the case. So this E2 location is just for a base and assault. So let's go to one of the other points of interest here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to... Gotta check my... I have a little guide I made so I know where all this stuff is. There is a capture point if you're playing Conquest in B3, so let's go out there. Now, I do like this map. You can see there's lots of good places to hide, places to go up. Having jump jets helps on this map, definitely not required. Alrighty. So, as you can see, I could get up here by using these stairs. So keep an eye out. These stairs, they look like stairs. It's more of a, the geographical terracing of things, but here's a spot that some people like to come up to snipe from. That can be effective. Most of the combat takes over at place at that one in front of me right there, and we'll talk more about how things kind of shake out during a fight after we go through all of our
at 25%.
base locations here, and capture point locations. So right here in C3,
0%.
we have a capture point, and I believe that's right here, kind of behind this tree. A little bit hard to tell. This is an important map to use your mini map on because, as you can see, very thick overgrowth, lots of stuff in your way. So use that mini map off, and your base and capture locations will show up very clearly marked. So, but there's one in this grid coordinate, and then let's go up into B3 and have that marked as well. And there's one up in there. And I believe he's behind this structure. So capture point here as well. And then let's go over and look at C5 because there's one in there. So the one in C5 is actually located in the lowest level of this map. There's this kind of ground level, and then there's also the level of getting on top of these different structures, but there's also along the side here a drop-off. You can see there in D5, you can see where it's kind of defined. So, and in that drop-off, there's actually giant lilies that make it very hard to see down in there and out of there. Your targeting will work just fine, but it is difficult to actually visually locate what you're looking for. So if you come over to D5 here, lots of stuff in the way, so it's not necessarily a straight run. And then underneath all our lily pads here, there's a capture point. I believe it is right here. I think it's right about here. But it is in D5, so that's another capture point to be aware of. And this kind of low area extends along the side of the map here. You don't see this actually used often a lot during a solo play match because you're kind of in a hole and it's hard to shoot out, it's hard to see. I have seen people with electronic countermeasures really use that successfully to perform flanking maneuvers, but a lot of times it does kind of turn into a death trap, so be aware of that. And what we'll do is we'll come over to B7, and that is the other base location if you're playing Assault. So we'll go take a look at that real quick. So yeah, as you can see, that this tree would provide cover, or this tree as well, would provide cover if I was fighting that Atlas. So if I come over here and try to shoot through the tree, yep, not so much. But some of the smaller things don't provide cover, so if I can get, like these bushes here, I can shoot right through those. So there is a little bit of a learning curve, so I'll shoot through these bushes. Oop, a little faster. So as you can see, his leg is kind of obscured by the grass and bushes, but I can shoot through those without a problem. So keep that in mind. If it looks pretty robust, like this tree looks pretty thick, you can't shoot through it. If you can kind of sort of see through it, or if it looks like leaves or bushes, you can generally shoot through it without stopping your fire. It may be hard to see what you're shooting at, but that is kind of the rule on this map, is I can shoot through these branches, but I couldn't shoot, or these, I don't know if you want to call those branches, but the leaves up there at top, I get through those, but the thicker branches, I'm going to hit those when I shoot. So right here in B7, though, is the other base location. So this is where the other base is. Beware of turrets in the area if you're attacking it, or if you need some extra firepower, you want to come back here and get some help from the turrets, come back into this area. But beware, turrets in this area. And then I'll say I was slightly mistaken here on my notes. B7 also contains a capture location. So that one does kind of share the area, but the E2 one does not. As I said, this map is very thick, lots of cover, hard to get where you're going if you're just going to use this ground level. And it can be a little confusing, it does feel claustrophobic, hard to see out. It's hard to tell where things are. A lot of times as you're moving through here, what you'll see is triangles flashing everywhere. Oh, where is he? Where is he? I can't see him because of all the stuff in the way, but at least you know he's here. And it's kind of hard to get a long distance shot because of that. I think this map is really fun because of that. It doesn't feel claustrophobic, and lots of good ways to sneak around, and you don't even need ECM. As you can tell, I got good tracking on this mech until I start moving around a little bit. He's relatively close. Neither one of us have ECM equipped, but you can see that it'd be very easy for me to hide from him back here, or for him to hide from me if I didn't notice him and he noticed me. But generally how this map is used in solo play is the fight occurs along this 5 line here. There's a couple places to go up, and some mechs will do that. And what I want to look for is the large insects that are dead. So we'll run around a little bit. And so we're in the 5 line, this is where the engagement starts, and then on the 4 line, this is generally where you see a lot of maneuvering. So there's these dead insects. You can see that their carapaces actually provide really good cover. I have no idea what these bugs are made of, but it's extremely robust. It will stop battle mech level weapons fire. So keep that in mind. Something else to keep in mind is there are tentacles in the water. They don't do anything as far as gameplay. They look neat, and I'm going to see if I'm going to run around a bit here as I talk about that to let you know about it, and hopefully I can find one. But in these little rivers or streams, however you want to describe those, every once in a while a tentacle will rise up out of the water. Or perhaps it's a large snake, and you don't get a real good look at it. I find it extremely, I don't know if I want to say distracting. I think it's a neat effect. I think it makes this map feel alive, like I'm actually on another alien planet. Unfortunately, it makes me shoot at things I shouldn't be shooting at. I tend to look for motion as I play. ECM does make an enemy mech disappear from your radar. It does not make them disappear from the screen. You can still see them. So a lot of times when I'm moving around, especially on a map like this where I don't necessarily trust my detection, I am looking for motion. So I'll be out here and I'll see that tentacle rise up and I'll shoot at it because I see motion and assume it's an enemy mech. It's like I am not going to have luck finding that tentacle. But I'll run around a little bit and see if I can't. But as I said, most of the engagement starts along this 5 line into the 4 line with people using these shells and then these large spire structures to gain the advantage in the fight. So a lot of times the fight will be met right about in this area, or alternatively in D5, people will come up and push this way. So it depends on if the teams are pushing left or right, and who's faster. If there's a slow team pushing this way, the faster team will generally come up to meet them here. But in this general area is where the fight starts. Lots of spires, lots of cover. The shells provide good protection against ECM. When you're running around in this area, a good thing to know about is this shell. You can use them for cover from LRMs. He does cover the top. If you're small enough, you can get through that hole. Larger mechs will probably have to come through this direction. But be aware that once you get into this part of it, you can come out and fight in this area, which happens a lot, but you can also drop down. So I'm going to drop down, and then we'll end up in that 3rd level I talked about towards the beginning of the video, where we're underneath the lily pads. And if you swing out just a tad bit, there's some stairs right there in front of me, and we can come up those. So that's probably the trickiest navigation on this map right there. It's a little hole. It's not horribly hidden or a great secret, but it's a good way to get some cover or get away from somebody if you need to do that. And then what we'll do is we'll go up these stairs and look at the top of this spire structure. Larger mechs generally don't have trouble navigating these stairs. I've noticed some of the smaller mechs sometimes get hooked up on them because they can't take a big enough step. But yeah, once you get up on top of these spires, there's generally a little bit of water, and then we can look down into that valley and we can fight from up here. So generally what you'll see is fighting in the 4 and 5, sometimes into the 3 line, but not very often, with people using this to maneuver and snipe from, or pushing around these spires using it for cover. And that's generally where this is where this fight takes place, is in this area. This is another one with the shells, where you can get some cover from LRMs. Be careful of this area. It does provide some good cover. It's also a good spot to get trapped because we're between this spire and then this spire over here, and we'll go over there. So as you can see, I'm nice and tucked in here, and I got some good cover. But if we had the enemy team closing in, and they had a couple mechs up here and a couple mechs up here, and then mechs here and here, it quickly becomes a death trap if you're trying to dig into there. You can really just get crushed from all angles there. So we'll come around the corner here. More stairs. Some of your mechs with lots of jump jets, missed links, as I'm in, that's why I brought into this map, can actually jump from the ground all the way up. I do want to show you where the stairs are, because if you don't have jump jets, you kind of need to know where those are, because it's the only way up for you. But again, just another spire here. So generally what you'll see is fighting over these two spires and then the area directly around them. So that's what you'll see in both skirmish and assault for sure. This is where everybody goes to fight. If you're playing Conquest, a couple of the faster units may kind of break out into those areas that I showed you where those conquest points are and try to cap them, but generally towards the after the initial rush to cap, everybody kind of gravitates towards this area and fights over it as well. That's pretty good strategy on this map. It's small enough that if you were to get a little bit behind on caps, you can still get out there and have plenty of time to get caps under control if you're hunting down one guy at the end. As I said, I enjoy this map thoroughly. It actually feels like I'm on an alien planet. It's a little bit different than Earth, but still familiar. I do like this cover. As I was saying earlier, you know, I can shoot through these trees, or the canopy of the trees, and still hit him, but I can't see him very well, so it's kind of hard to aim at him. Like I said, I just love this map. I think it's neat. I think it's beautiful. There's plenty of cover. Even if you're caught in the open, let's say I'm fighting him and he has LRMs, and I realize I'm kind of close for that, but let's say he's a clan mech, he's got LRMs. Still hit me with them. There's actually, I can run here, and there's a little bit of cover from LRMs up top here. So there's lots of good cover. It keeps LRMs from being useless, because like if someone's moving through here, you can still hit them with your LRMs. But it does give you that option of getting under things to give you some cover and lets you maneuver without having to hope no one notices you as you cross a large distance that has no cover. So that's been a look at this map, and I'm going to take another quick spin around this area and see if I can't find that tentacle. Saw it the other day, thought it was neat, wanted to show everybody, and of course, much like anything else in life, when you think it's neat, it's cool, it doesn't happen very often, you can't show anybody else. But just be aware, as you're running through here, you might see that tentacle rise up. It's a neat feature. I really liked it. I wanted to point it out because I'm sure I'm not the only person that looks for motion. So yeah, be aware. It's kind of reddish, orange. Depends on how you perceive color a little bit on that too. But you'll see it rolling through this. There he is. There he is. And it's very large as well. And so yeah, there's that tentacle, that snake. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm glad I was able to show that to you, because I actually blasted it the other day, and had several people on my team ask me what the hell I was doing. They were a little concerned I might hit them by accident. I saw motion and I shot it. That didn't have a blue triangle above it, so just be aware that those tentacles do rise up out of the water, and I think it's neat. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's shown you some things about how to use this map in a solo match. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer them. If there's a tutorial you'd like to see, or something you don't understand from this tutorial, let me know. I'll either tweak up this tutorial, or we'll make you a new tutorial based on whatever subject you'd like. Again, I hope you enjoy what you're seeing. Please subscribe to my channel, and have great luck on the battlefield. I hope to see you there.